Hey, it's Tuesday night. How you doing, guys? Wow, there's quite a few of you here already. Look at that. We got David, Tyree, Beagle Bob, Chris Freemesser, Mexican Spec. Welcome along, guys. And Tavo. Tavo is gracing us with his presence again. Good to have you here, man. We were a little worried about you, but I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, it's awesome that you're here. So, very cool. Who else we got? Josh Homan. Mexicans, Charles Dalton. Very cool. Should be a busy evening. Chris Freeman is just saying what I just said. Yeah, so it's good to have the regular crew in. It's like Tavo's the only Aussie right now. Hey, well, absent without leave. Yes, there you go. And Paul Funk, and good evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, do hit the like button. We've got 16 in the room so far and 7 likes. So which 9 of you don't like the show so far? Come on. Jeff Hutchins, I made it. We'll see if I can stay on or if the customers get me. Well, yeah, the customers are always a bit of a problem. Don Bello, welcome along. That's a new name, I think. Unless I don't think I've seen you in here before, but maybe we have. Maybe I've just forgotten. But hey, whichever way, welcome along. Good to have you here. Good to have you here, sir. Now, Mexican speak. Paul Funk takes at least 30 minutes to decide if I like the show or not. Oh, well, fair enough, I guess. There you go. Now, what do we got? Don Bello, been a while. Okay. All right, well, good to have you back in, man. Thanks for dropping by. Paul Funk, rest in peace to the 3 firefighters who passed away this weekend here in Colorado, not far away from me. Mate, I had not heard about that. That's awful. Yeah, that's those guys put their lives on the line and sometimes pay the ultimate price. Never good. But hey, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, we need to thank them for their sacrifice in whichever way we choose to do that. Mexican speak. What's going on, Kiwi? Brad Eastman's here too. Hey, Kiwi, hope you're well. Yeah, I'm pretty well. Man, it's been hot today. It was brutally hot in the shop today. It was like 97 degrees outside and a little cooler in the shop, but not much, man. And then when you're welding, it's hard. And I was grinding fiberglass, which just sucks when you're hot and sweaty because the fiberglass dust just sticks to you. So that's really crap, I'll be honest. But hey, got to be done. Mexican speak. While I was indisposed, a 4.9 earthquake hit us. Felt like a rolling quake. No damage as far as I know. Wow. 4.9. Yeah, I mean, it's all about how deep they are too, isn't it? It's not just the number on the seismograph. It's actually how deep below the surface it is too. So, you would have felt that though. Driveway of misfits. AWOL equals drove into the Outback in a Ford, took 3 weeks to walk back home after the Ford broke down. Yes. Well, hey, I mean, at least he got like a 3-week walk. At least he got that far, you know. So not necessarily a bad effort. You don't really get to walk. Just saying, you don't really get to walk 3 weeks in the Outback. Like you're a missing person at that point. 3 weeks in the Outback, no. Beagle Bob, I had enough cherry tomatoes from my garden to make pasta sauce for spaghetti and meatball dinner. Well, aren't you just the green thumbed chef? That's awesome. I bet it was good too. Mexican speak. It was centered 60 kilometers from us. Wow, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Jeff Hutchins, been through two of those smaller earthquakes here in Oregon. Don't remember the scale number, but definitely felt them both. Yeah. Paul Funk, yeah, yes, it was one of many fires here in Colorado, 145 acres to 28,000 this past Sunday. Wow. That's a big, wow, that's really accelerating, isn't it? I assume they just got trapped by the fire, couldn't get out. Wow, that's awful. That's awful. Mexican spec. Tell us, Chris, what happened when the Ford hurt you? Oh, you talking about when I did my knees in? Is that what you're meaning? Just confirm that before I go rambling about that story. Mexican spec. Usually don't feel them as I am from Southern California. This one I felt. There you go. Beaglebog. I don't know if I'll be able to go back to store-bought sauce. I well believe that, man. I well believe that. Yeah, good for you, buddy. Chief Hutchins, don't be talking about garden fresh tomatoes, as we Kiwis say it, tomatoes. If you don't have enough for everyone, nothing better than real fresh tomatoes. True. Tavo, having an actual winter's day here today. Cold, rain, wind. Nice. I'd trade you, mate. Honestly, it was brutally hot today. Mexican spec. No, Chris. No, Kiwi. Chris seems to have been hurt by a Ford. Oh, okay. Wrong, Chris. Oh, yeah. I'm with you. He is a little bit against him, isn't he? He could just be trying to wind me up, of course. That's a possibility. Because he knows I'm a Ford man. I think Meeks is talking about my constant dissing of Fords. Okay, yeah, I missed that. Right, I'm tired. I'm absolutely knackered tonight. I'm going to see if I can make it till 9, but I'm not promising anything, guys. I'm absolutely knackered. That heat I just did not stop sweating all day. Yeah, got a mighty good pile of empty water bottles. But yeah, Jeff Hutchins, that knee injury Mustang story makes me hurt just hearing it. Yeah, it's kind of old history now, but I mean the knees still haunt me, but yeah, life goes on and I'm still walking, so I'm happy. Beagle Bob, I have about 60 plants between cherry, yellow, and purple. Purple tomato. I wonder what they taste like. Can't say I've had a purple tomato. Chris Freeman, a Mexican spec involved a tight engine compartment, being on an expressway, and a plastic water pump impeller deciding not to impel anymore. Oh dear. Yeah, left you stranded, huh? Mexican spec, you can't blame all the older Fords for their later mistakes. Well, this is true. It's very true. David Tyree, earthquakes, they're normal. Yeah, they don't call us the shaky isles for nothing. No, New Zealand is a well, it's on that what's the name of that fault line that comes all right down through Hawaii and down through the islands and into New Zealand. I can't remember the name of the fault line. It's gone. But yeah, shaky isles is another name for New Zealand for sure. Don Bello, getting old ain't for the weak. No, this is true. No. Brad Eastman, crisp wintry days over here. Cold mornings and a beautiful day. Perfect weather. Yeah, I agree. There's always that much more oxygen. When the air's cold in the morning, there's so much more oxygen. It feels like there's so much more oxygen in the air, and it's quite invigorating. Chris Freeman said, did you hear that the Ford is hiring 350 seasoned engineers as the company's foray into automated quality control didn't work out. True story. Really? Huh. That's good. That's a good thing. I mean, they keep, they're going to automate too many people out of jobs. And this AI, I think, is going to run too many people out of jobs. And you need an economy where there's a lot of people working, because it just keeps the money turning around, going around in circles, and people make a little bit along the way. And yeah. Granddad's Junk, welcome along. Good to have you here, Tony. What's new over in the Southern Island? Jeff Hutchins, I'm always dissing on Fords too. I own like 8 to 10 of them, all trucks. The 75 Maverick I had was bulletproof too. 250 6-cylinder and a C4 solid. Great 6-cylinder engines. Yep, can't knock them. You really can't. Mate, you would love a Barra engine. You would love a Barra engine. And Vilefly's in the house too. Welcome along, man. Clings to a cup of ice cream. There you go. I could do that. I could go a cup of ice cream. Get the core temperature down a little bit. Okay, Chris Freemasser. It was a 95 Ford Contour FWIW, my last Ford. Sworn off them now, ain't they? Oh, well. Yeah, they all have problems. It doesn't matter who makes them. They make good ones. They make bad ones. It's just, it's just the way it is, even Toyota are having massive engine problems these days. So, they've been number one in the world for a long time, but, they're not beyond, or above cock-ups. They're really not. Vilefly, we all have our faults. Mine's in California. Yes, there's a bit of a fault line through there. GMAC, welcome along. Greetings from Knoxville. Good to have you here, bud. Oh, Chris Freemasser, Granddad's Junk, going well, one step away from being able to drive the LeBaron. What's the step? That's the question on everyone's lips now. What's the step? What do you need to do? Granddad's Junk, the mainland. Yes, that's true. That's what the correct description, isn't it? I got the mighty 30 Plymouth fired up. Nice. Well done. That's cool. Paul Funk, when I visited the Toyota plant in Kentucky, there was at the end of the line that checked all the body gaps with his finger. Wow. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Beagle Bob, I watched the 2022 Bathurst 1000 the other day. Mate, what did you think of it? Isn't it just an awesome race? And I have to say, and I've probably said it before, but until you go there, and I was the same, until you go there and actually walk some of the track, you don't realize how steep it is. It is steep. Steep on the way up, steep on the way down. There's a big elevation change, and that really does create a whole new dimension for the race car drivers and the cars too, being able to deal with that climb. It is you need a big engine to get up that hill, and you need some RPMs to get downhill down that back, the big back straight, Conrod Straight. And the reason they call it Conrod Straight is because an awful lot of Conrods have been thrown out at the end of that straight because they're just singing and bouncing on the rev limiter. So, but yeah, what an awesome race that is. But yeah, be interested to hear your thoughts on it. Vilefly, 95 degrees Fahrenheit again today. Glad we got minor AC in the shop, enough to be humidity reduced at least. Yeah, I wish I'm still using a swamp cooler, so which tends to amp up the humidity. And it gets to a point where it's just too hot and it doesn't keep up. Chris Freeman, need to rebuild the CV axles. The boots are shot. Oh, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad a job. Cool. That's close then. Volfly, at least I no longer have to keep a wet rag on the back of my neck like I used to. Yeah, I should try doing that actually. I should try doing that. Yeah, Chris Freeman. So Toyota imports some vehicles into Japan from the US plants. They legit tell customers that quality won't be as good as the US made cars. Wow, interesting. Interesting. That surprises me from the Japanese. They're so proud. Jeff Hutchins, I can't think of a new vehicle I'd buy. They seem to all have cam problems, transmission problems, and/or electrical problems. Too much focus on emissions and fuel mileage. Reliability went away. Man, you said it, man. That's it in a nutshell. The EPA is forcing the engineers at these different vehicle manufacturers to literally go above and beyond what's really viable and really practical. And yeah, I don't know how much we are saving. I mean, I guess, a few more miles to the gallon helps, it helps, emissions and stuff like that. But yeah, what does it cost to repair all these vehicles? What's the impact on the environment? With all these vehicles failing so much earlier and so much more often, that has to have an effect as well. But of course, they conveniently don't take that into account, do they? GMAC, tell me how rare is my friend's 68 Fury Sport convertible 383 Commando 4-speed? It has about 80,000 miles. The best I remember, it runs and sounds good. How rare is it? Yeah, I'm not really sure. A 68 Fury 383 4-speed, just the 4-speed factor has got to make it fairly rare. But you can probably Google the production numbers on that sort of thing and just see where you're at on that. But the 68 Fury was a bit of a tank, not the most sought after car. Just generally speaking, I don't mean I don't like it. I think they're cool, but yeah, they were a fairly big boat. But yes, interesting that a big luxury car like that, had a 4-speed, big block 4-speed. But that's pretty cool. Mexican spec, I don't know. Suzuki Swift is a pretty good looking car. Yep. Beagle Bob is definitely a good race. I'm going to watch a few more of them. Oh, good. That's cool. Yeah, and have if you get a little bored with the Bathurst, like too many of them because they're long race, check out the classic saloon car race, Tavo. Remind me what they call that. The old they bring out the old touring cars and touring car masters. That's what it's called, touring car masters. Look that up, and that's a wonderful class in Australia. That's becoming very popular. Chris Freeman said, GMAC, that would be a good question for Tom at Rocket Restorations. Yeah, I mean, a Chrysler Guru is going to be able to, do a lot better on that than me. I just don't know. I'd have to go and Google it, which you can do the same thing. So, but yeah, it's could well be quite rare. But there's a few weird Mopars around like that. I remember seeing one that some guy had advertised, and it was like 1 of 4 or something. But the reason it was 1 of 4 was it was just a god awful color combination, like the interior and the outside color. And it was. So while it was very rare, it wasn't sought after, just because it was extraordinarily ugly. Josh Homan, never saw Bathurst but heard a bit about it. Sounds like a treacherous race. Oh, it is. That mountain will bite you in a millisecond. yeah, those elevation changes and going over blind brows where you've got to aim for the next corner based on memory, not on what you can see, on where you believe it's going to be when you come over that. If you come over the brow on the right line where you're supposed to, then the corner will be where you need it to be. But if you get it wrong, there's like and yeah, a lot of very talented drivers have made some big mistakes at Bathurst. Ricky Falk, rev limiter's got to be harder on an engine. They're not easy, no, they're not easy on an engine. I mean, it's a deliberate misfire. So yeah, it's not. They're not. It's not easy. No, they try and stay off them really, but Paul Funk, has anyone watched an in-car cam of someone racing up Pikes Peak? I've watched quite a few Pikes Peak things, but I don't know whether I've watched an in-car. Tell you what's quite a good watch is when they had the Group B rally cars up there at Pikes Peak. They were, I think Peugeot went there and Audi went there with their Group B monsters, and they were pretty spectacular. Pretty spectacular. Jeff Hutchins, exactly, Kiwi. Throw an entire vehicle away to get 2 miles per gallon extra, not green. No, I don't think it is. Volfly, a makeshift dehumidifier would use calcium chloride, but it heats up as it absorbs moisture, so it would require cooling off before introducing that air back into the shop. Messy but possible, I guess. Yeah, I guess what you're saying makes sense, but yeah, you just got to execute it, eh? Granddad's joke. Mexican speak. Those Swifts are not cars. They barely make a coffin. Oh, goodness. Volfly. Ice melt equals calcium chloride. Right. Yep. Gotcha. Brad Eastman. Struggling to keep motivated on my project. Any tips? I'm time poor, so find myself using any spare time driving a completed car. Yeah, mate, that's that. Yeah, keeping motivated on projects is a hobby-wide issue, and it can be a challenge for sure. And sometimes you've kind of just got to push yourself a little bit, and sometimes you just got to step away and let it come back to you in its own time. So it just depends whether you've got a time crunch. It's an event or something that you really want to take it to. And sometimes, if that's the situation, sometimes you just got to keep pushing on, even when you're really not enjoying doing it. But you will enjoy the end result. So you've kind of got to balance that with, I don't really want to go out and work on it with I'm going to love it when it's done. So yeah, it's tricky. But yeah, just one bite at a time. Just set yourself a goal for just a little job that won't take too long, and just get that done. You get a couple of them knocked out, and you'll feel like you're making some progress. And then the enthusiasm starts to reignite. So yeah, that'd be my advice. Choose a couple of little jobs that are quite manageable in a fairly short amount of time, and just get that done and cross them off the list. And hopefully it'll come back. Don Bello, saw a couple of Miatas with small block Ford at the Hot Wheels car show this weekend. That might be hard on my budget. Well, small block Fords are pretty cheap, man, if you're not wanting big horsepower. 382s are 302s. Are still very much available. Like that one I got out for the Alpine. That would have been quite a decent runner. It needed probably, upon pulling it down, it probably needed a set of bearing shells, but I don't think the crank needed grinding. I think you would have got away with just, new shells and send it, Would it have been perfect? No. If you measured everything up, it probably realistically needed a crank grind, but a new set of shells, and it would have been awesome. And that was a $300 motor. Tavo, yes, TCM, Touring Car Masters. Yep. Cheers, mate. Granny's junk. I can't even look at the Swiss. I get a headache. Oh dear. Stephen Bunkybird, welcome along, mate. Good to have you here. Mexican speak. They are a hot hatch. They are a hot hatch. You're right. Beagle Bob, I'll have to check out Touring Car Master. It's well worth a look, mate. You'll see they have some American cars in there. A lot of the old Aussie cars, and quite a cool mixture. And they're a little concerning to the Australian touring car organisation, because they're actually growing in popularity to a point where it's actually becoming a little bit of an issue for the supercars, because they're actually kind of taking some of the viewership away from them. People do. There's a little bit of a nostalgia thing, to be fair, but they're very quick. They've got a lot of the old drivers driving them. Most of the time they're privately owned cars, but they will, somebody who loves racing cars has got one and restored it. He'll get, Jim Richards or, some of the Aussie touring car names from 30 years ago to drive the cars that they used to drive back in the day. And it's a big nostalgia trip for a huge amount of viewers. And they try hard. They're not putting around in, beautifully, well, they are beautifully restored. They're not just putting around, and pretending to race. They're at it, and they're rubbing panels, and they'll hit each other, and a few get bent quite hard. They're not messing about. They're not taking too many prisoners. They drive hard, and the old rivalries are still there between those drivers from yesteryear, and it's very cool to watch. Jeff Hutchins, many things are rare because they're so hideous nobody bought them. Well, there's some truth to that. It never was me. Hey guys, been a while. Hey, good to have you back, man. That's awesome. Thanks for dropping by. David Tyree, you've got to watch out for the kangaroos at Bathurst as well. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What else did they have there? They had a echidna on the track one day, which I don't know, David. How do you explain an echidna? I don't even know how to explain that. It's a creature about as big as a medium-sized dog, I suppose, something like that. Not as tall, but fairly substantial to hit in a race car. And they're quite heavily protected, I think, too. I know they had one on the track there, and there was yellow flags flying, and it was they were concerned about it getting hit. More for the creature than for what the damage it would do to the cars. Tavo, Bathurst 1000 has gone through a number of iterations. Some call it evolution, but the changes happened quite sharply. It means something completely different to what it started as. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. It's very much. It's a very different race today. Still a great race, though. Still a great race. It's a very, very tough race, and the best cars on the grid fail doing Bathurst. Not all the time, obviously, but you expect to see some failures from the rear gunners kind of thing. The teams on a smaller budget, but Bathurst will take out the best funded team there. It has that ability. Yeah, shot down the page again, lost my spot. There we go. Jeff Hutchins, I wouldn't want to be in a car going up Pikes Peak in 8 seconds. I think you mean 8 minutes. He does, next line. 8 minutes. No, that's an extremely fast time. I remember breaking the 10-minute barrier, quite a while ago now. But yeah, that'd be very fast. Did anyone see that little clip where one guy went just smoking off the edge of Pikes Peak, like missed the left-hander completely and just went off at speed, and he flew through the air before he came down and amongst some trees. Spectacular watch. It looked like the car was actually flying. It wasn't. It was crashing, but he went off at speed. Like he missed the corner completely and went off. They say apparently it looked, because there was a gap in the trees, and at the wrong moment he thought the road was going straight ahead, but it was actually pulling quite a hard left. And he did get on the brakes for about half a second, and then he was gone. But yeah, would have made a mess of the car. It didn't show. The clip I saw didn't show the car afterwards, but it was a big crash. Chris Freeman, it helps to look at completed cars like the one you're working on to help remotivate you. Yep, that's true too. It was never me. Any more Cougars in the shop, the cars I mean. No, not right now. We've got like 6 Mustangs in there, but no Cougars. We've got a Cougar that is meant to be coming back, that's meant to be getting 408 stroker and all that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, but later in the year, which is not that far away. Volfly had to mess with a 2011 Jetta AC system. Man, I hate German engineering. Variable displacement compressor, no clutch. System has to learn the compressor performance before it will fully cool. Good Lord, really? That's wild. Andy Nickel, late again. I got sucked into a bunch of political BS. Oh, dear. Yep, that's why we don't talk politics here. Oh, he nearly made me choke, Volfly. I was reading that as I was drinking. I want to rent a B-29 so I can bomb the VW plant. That's pretty funny. And it also it'll be good to talk cars. Yes, it will. Charles Dalton, when I get stuck, I break it down to 30-minute windows and make myself get into the garage. Usually once that 30 minutes is up, I'm into it and keep going. It's the first step that's the hardest. Good advice, Chuck. Good advice. Chris Freemes of Volfly, they wonder why they're in such financial straits right now. Yeah, fair comment. Volfly, let them rot. We've got a passionate point there with Volfly. He's really not a Volkswagen fan, is he? Or at least a modern Volkswagen fan. Do you like the old Beetles? Seems like most of the population loves an old Beetle. What about you, Volfly? Are you a Beetle fan, like Mr. Freemes? Volfly, VW stopped being VW around 95 before their cars. Before then, their cars had, try and read it properly, had character. Yes. It goes for a lot of cars too. Legal Bob, Andy, this is really a conversation about cars. Good to be here. Good of you to be here, though. Yes. Last week was an interesting one. We talked a lot about cars last week. It was crazy. Like, it was out of the ordinary. Yeah, Volfly. The only reason we accepted this one in the shop is that it was a regular customer that brings other vehicles in. Yeah, that can be tough. Barry Cooter. Hey, man, welcome along. Good to have you here. We got Tavo in the room too, Barry Cooter, by the way. He's back on the scene. He's been AWOL, but yeah. Rumour has it he broke down in a Ford in the Outback, but I'm not sure whether that's true or whether that's just a Chris Free mess of fabrication. Tavo, big porcupine. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably a pretty good way of explaining it. Yeah. Yeah, they are. They do have spines, don't they? Like prickles or whatever you want to call them. Quills, don't we? Paul Funk, many years ago, I drove to the top of Pikes Peak with a hangover, and it turned out, I was sucking wind. Turned out to be a bad idea. I was sucking wind at the top. Yeah, you don't want to go to high altitude with a hangover. That was a bad idea, brother. That was a bad idea. Lane Connolly, just lurking tonight. Yeah, good to have you here, man. Too hot in Florida to work in the garage for the next few months. Yeah. Too many mosquitoes at night. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a Florida thing, ain't it? Now, Jeff Hutchins, Charles Dalton, that's how it works for me. Once I get started, I usually keep going. Yeah. Beer Rose Garage. Hey, welcome along, man. Good to have you here. How's that Corvette coming on? Corvette. What am I saying? Corvair. I knew what I meant, just my mouth didn't say it properly. That's all the heat from the day. My brain's a bit frazzled. Volfly, I need to build a CO2-based zapper for the mosquitoes. It just needs a yeast sugar cut below the killer grid. There you go. God, you wouldn't want to be a mosquito around you, bro. Bear Rose, got my 58 Nash Metropolitan the other day. Another ratty gasser build coming after the Corvair is done. You love your gases, don't you, mate? Yeah. Jeff Hutchins, it's really bad feeling when you're off the roadway. Flying off of a cliff would be an atomic bug effect. Indeed. Mike Oxlong, 351. Hey, Kiwi, I've been watching some of your videos and saw you have a live stream. So, yeah, well, welcome along, man. Good to have you here. Thanks for watching the video. Randy Nichols, speaking of fast, Cletus sold his Pro Mod he had just built, holds the record for radiator car in the quarter mile, ran 3-something in the 8, and 5-something in the quarter. Clear said it scared the heck out of him. I bet it did. A radiator, wow, that's fast. That's fast. Holds the record. Well, yeah, there you go. Volfly, the old Beetles have no German computers on them, so they get a pass, yeah. Not to be said for no computers. Buddy Caro Fano, welcome along. Rather have a Carmen gear over a bug. Yeah, I go along with that. I think that's fair. Driveway of misfits. A Chris Freemesser fabrication. I would never fabricate a totally believable story for laughs. Of course you wouldn't. Yep. Oh. Here we go. I'm almost caught up. Josh Homan, German engineering used to be top notch. Now it's expensive junk. I'm not sure what to say there, having an Audi in the garage downstairs. It's got, like the rear, it's got on my one, the little spoiler pops up at 70 mile an hour. And that quit. Still under warranty, luckily, which is a good thing because they're $2,300 to replace them. Yeah. Barry Cooter, maybe he went walkabout when Jenny a gutter. He's got more taste than that, mate. Snow Crusher, hey, welcome all the way from Kanadistan. Good to have you here, man. Tavo, my only Ford, a 4-cylinder, did take me to the outback, 70 kilometres west of the exact centre of Oz, and returned with a car on a trailer, 28-hour round trip last year. Wow. And you towed a car out with it. Wow. with a four-banger. Wow, that's a lot of work for a little four-banger, isn't it? On that length of trip. Wow. Firefly, oh dear. After getting through the Jetta nightmare, I was promptly rewarded by another grandfathered in Range Rover with do-it-yourself air suspension. Delete. I was supposed to find a way around. Nope. Reprogram it. Oh, good Lord. Wow. I wouldn't even know where to start trying to do that. So, yeah, you're a smarter man than me, man. Chris Freemess of Firefly. Wow, you got totally Euro trash today. He did, didn't he? He must have done something to upset the foreman there or something. Get handed all the shit jobs. David Torrey. I would have gone walkabout with Jenny at Gutter. There you go. Volfly, yep, and we don't work on them normally. I can do it, I just don't dig it. Oh, fair enough. Sorry, just checking a message. Gillian Green, videos on YouTube I watched on the Ford and Holden manufacturing in Australia and the closing down of them. Very interested and worth a watch. Cool. Okay. That does sound interesting, yeah. GMAC, when I was 12, my older brother and I bought a 53 VW Beetle. There we go. For $80. We were driving around the yard while mum and dad was at work. It had a roll top and a football style rear window. It was fun. Oh, the little wee back window, yeah. 53 is a fairly old one, isn't it? $80. Good grief. Good memories. Good memory. GMAC, Mexican speak GMAC, that car is worth quite a bit today. Yeah, those old small window ones in the I believe the split window, would they call it a split window or the two-piece back window? Like that football-shaped one, but with a little vertical. That's apparently that's very, very desirable. Chris Freeman, so yep, 53 oval window Beetles fetch good money these days. Yep, indeed. GMAC. Oh well, it was fun. Dad didn't know we got it running till later. There you go. What boys will get up to when the parents aren't watching. Volfly. Oh, latest news. The auto companies are threatening California with not selling them new or used cars in response to requiring them to disable spy feature on their vehicles. Such attitude. Wow, really? That spy feature is bullshit, isn't it? Good on California for doing that. And I'll tell you what, they might be threatening it, but it remains to be seen whether they do it or not. It's a big market. There's a lot of cars there, a lot of people there, consequently, a lot of cars are sold there. So that could be a bit of bluff, a bit of bravado. Time will tell, I guess. Try and stop my phone buzzing. Volflow, Leto's Law had a video on it. Okay. Leto's Law. Interesting. I might try and have a look at that. Leto. Yeah, okay. Granddad's joke, Volflow, all those power trippers want to spy on us. I suggest boycotting modern cars. I won't ever buy one. Fair enough, man. No, they definitely spy on you. Mexicans spec. California always creates laws to protect a very small percentage of the population and everybody else has to comply. It's a little island in the US, isn't it? California's its own set of rules. If I get a hold of a newer car to use for some reason, I would rip every antenna off that thing. Yeah. Yeah. Barracuda, has anyone ever seen the 1970 Australian movie Walkabout? I have not. I have not. Mike Oxlong, get the newest pre-spyware car you can and keep it going for as long as you can. Yep. Well, here we go. Chris Freeman said roughly 2 million cars sold in California each year. Quite the bluff, I'd say. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Granddad's junk. Yes, all new cars spy on you. Yeah, they do. They do. Mexican spec. Mike Oxlong. It doesn't have to be the newest. A 70s car would do well, or a 60s car too. Yeah. A few more amenities on some of the, I can see what he's meaning, what Mike's meaning, but a few more standard luxuries, and as they get a bit newer. Yeah. Chris Freeman, Volfly. Back when I had a Pontiac Vibe, I pulled the fuse for the OnStar system so they couldn't try tracking me. Huh. Okay. Volfly. The OnStar system was also a cause of power drain lots of times also. Huh. Mike Oxlong, Mexican spec, if you can get parts. Yeah. Yeah, you got to choose the car, choose the right car. Yep. Andy Nicol, I've had a few VWs. I had one we used to take into the parks and ran the trails till a giant tree jumped out and bit me in the transaxle. My buddy was running behind holding the throttle cable. Oh, good Lord, really? Mexican spec, a slant 6 car will run forever with a manual better. Yeah. Yep, you don't need a lot of parts for one of them. You really don't. Oh, Andy Nicol, just as the cop car came into the park, close call, young and stupid. Yeah, weren't we all? Weren't we all? We've all got some stories to tell like that, didn't we? Mexican spec buddy car. While that may be true, I will always be easier to buy points in a condenser than the computers in the newer cars. True enough. True enough. Volfly. Lato's Law is a good channel to watch. Gearhead Lawyer, who wrote a book on the Chrysler turbine car that does automotive related law articles. Okay, I didn't realise that. A Gearhead Lawyer. Interesting. I bet he has got some interesting stuff there. Barracuda. John Milon was in Walkabout, of course. He was in every Australian movie in those days. Granddad's Jake. Quickly. Hey, Barracuda, do you remember The Castle? I think it was called The Castle. That was a really good Australian movie. Granny's Jake, buddy, here's the thing. Just don't drive like an idiot and don't crash. No problems. All these airbags, they play up and can't pass a warrant of fitness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well. Yeah, of course, they don't have to worry about that here. Mexican spec, Granny's showing you can't predict what the other stupid drivers will do. No, but you can mitigate it to some degree, can't you? I understand what Granny's showing saying. But yeah, you can definitely mitigate it to some degree, but yeah. Lane Conley, last summer I put 6,500 miles on my 68 383 big block Valiant. Got about 12 miles per gallon. Put 6,500 miles on my 24 Acura this summer. Got 44.5. Really? Wow. That's a lot of miles per gallon. Acura is about as quick as the Valiant, and the AC works. It's a valid argument, man. It's a valid argument. It doesn't necessarily put all the other arguments out, but that's a thing, and that depends on the value you put on that. Now, Mike Oxlong, New Zealand and Australia have crazy strict safety rules, I've heard. You heard correctly. Yep, they do. They do. I think New Zealand's worse than Australia, actually. Brad Eastman, $300. Tell him he's dreaming. That's the movie, mate. That's the one. Tell him he's dreaming. Yeah, that's the movie. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. David Torrey, Steve Leto also wrote a book on the Superbirds and Daytonas. Oh, wow. He's a busy boy, isn't he? Mexicans speak. Lane Connolly, where will the Acura be in 45 years? If we only knew. Mate, it might be a collector's item that's worth like $14 billion. And, in 40 years' time, that won't be that much money, but, who knows? I do think this is a reoccurring conversation, though, over the decades, because I'm sure there was, like in the 70s, there was old boys saying, these new cars don't go like the old ones, they're too high tech, and it just keeps moving along, because the car's constantly evolving. So yeah, old car, Buddy Caro, old cars are way better looking. There is that, and I mean, again, that's in the eye of the beholder too. There's not everyone's going to agree with you on that. I do, but not everyone's going to. Volflo Leto told us about how the man who made the '66 Batmobile replicas got ripped off by a real estate guy in California, who sent the police to his shop out of jurisdiction to shut him down. Wow. I had not heard that story. Green is Jake Lang, but driving the Valiant, you're looking good and it sounds beautiful. This is true. It didn't work. It was a flawed attack. Yeah, if they're out of jurisdiction, then yeah. But it probably gave him a headache for a day. Steve Sadusky, welcome along. That's quite all right that you're late, mate. That's quite all right. As long as you're here, mate. That's the key thing. Mexican spec. Kiwi will be a paperweight because they won't be parts to fix it. Yeah, I mean, sadly, we won't be around to know one way or the other, will we? But I tend to think you're right. I think in 40 years, I think all the cars will be paperweights. There'll be something different going on. Because the speed of technology, is ramping up I think there'll be some very different things going on in 40 years. Steve Sadusky, I did get your emails, mate. I got one anyway. All right, remember seeing two. And yeah, too busy. It's just crazy busy. Everybody wants their car fixed for summer. They've all had problems all through winter and done nothing about it. And now everyone's ringing up going, can you fix my whatever it is? And they all want it done by the end of the week, and none of them are getting it done by the end of the week. But yeah, you want a bunch of T-shirts. I got that one about all the T-shirts, and I've just got to bundle them up, weigh them, and send your price. So yeah, I'll get to it. I will, I promise. But I'll look for the other email because I'm pretty sure I only saw one. But anyway, I'll get to it, mate. I have seen it, and I haven't forgotten you. I just haven't got to it. But it's kind of who's screaming loudest at the moment. Volfly, the real estate douchebag, got mad because he missed a payment for 3 months and then got moved to the bottom of the list. Yeah, fair enough. And he would be mad, but hey. GMAC, we got the Tail of the Dragon 129, yes. 318 curves in 11. I've done that. I've done that road. It's fucking amazing. I drove my Crossfire straights, SRT6 on it, straight 6. SRT6 on it. It was very fun, but the poop will get you. The popo will get you. Oh my God, I can't read for shit. The cops with a gravy stain on his shit. Mate, Yeah, I did that in the Audi when I first got it, and that was a fabulous day. I'm getting, I'm getting, I'm getting frowned upon by Mrs. Kiwi over there on the other side of the room. Going, they just want me to share too much about that story, but it was a very good day. We didn't break the speed limit at all at any point. What? And yes, but a lot of fun was had. And yeah, Mrs. K has vowed she will never go to the Tail of the Dragon with me driving again. So no marks were put on the car at all. It was perfect. And but yes, she just got a little nervous, and I'm not really sure why. But anyway, but yeah, awesome piece of road. Buddy Caro, real cars have chrome bumpers. There you go. There's some truth to that. Granddad's junk, dead right, buddy. Plastic rubbish. Yep. Mexican spec, Buddy Caro. Well, metal bumpers. We have to include the aluminum bumper Fairmont. Fair enough, too. Tavo, we're going to Bonnie Doon. Wildfly, I would have had some consequences for them, but qualified immunity protects stupid, corrupt cops. The sheriff was an elected official and did not care. There you go. It's who you know. It's a big deal. Steve Sadusky, okay, as long as you got them, no problem. Yep, I've got the shirts and I got one of the emails at least. So, but I will have a check when I get off the live. Mexican speak. Kiwi is not very good at returning messages. No, that is a pattern. I got to hold my hand up and take that one on the chin. Yeah, no, I just get caught up in what I'm doing, and yeah, the brain. Yeah. What can I say? I do my best, but it's not always as good as it needs to be. Charles Dalton, I realise it's outside most cars discussed here, but the lack of tech is part of what I love about my 31 Model A. It's purely mechanical. There really aren't any mysteries when working on it. Interesting. Yeah, I've not worked on cars of that era, but yeah, I'm sure they're not that complicated. But all that, that advance on the steering wheel and well, that was more the Model T, wasn't it? Well, or was it? Yeah, I'm not very familiar with those cars. Paul Funk, driving an old car, you can see the hood, which you can't on a newer car like my Avalon. No, I do like being able to see the front of the front fenders. I'm with you there. Lane Connolly, I like new cars and old cars. I have the parts to fix the Valiant AC. I'm 70 years old, unlikely to be around in 45 years. Mate, that's probably the case for most of us on this live. It is what it is, isn't it? Granddad's junk. Charles, that's real cool. There are plenty of Model A's here in New Zealand. Yeah, they were a popular car in New Zealand back in the day. They sold a few of them. Andy Nickel, we'll all be taking Johnny cabs. I don't think we'll actually own cars when autonomous drive takes over. We'll just grab one and leave it at a destination, similar to the e-bikes littering the city. I think that's somehow how it's going to go. That autonomous driving, I think, is definitely going to be a thing. Yeah, I mean, if you've got an hour commute or even a half-hour commute, and if you don't have to drive, then there's stuff you can be doing. Phone calls to make, emails to send, that kind of thing. Yeah, like when I'm in my truck, like I got a 20-minute drive to work and back, and when I'm in my truck, it's too noisy, and it's a stick shift, and it doesn't have a hands-free phone set up, and I just really can't make phone calls. When I'm in the Audi, that's 20. I'm on the phone pretty much the whole time. I'm in the Audi driving to work or driving home, just catching up on those messages I haven't returned and stuff like that. But I'm not in the Audi every day, so. GMAC, my friends and I went down to Georgia Street Side Classic Cars. It is a big building with lots of cars. They were looking for me, and I said, I'm down here in the floor giving it a Kiwi exam. Good for you, man. What did you find? That's the question. Volfly, we'll all be outlaws, Andy Nickel. There you go. Barracuda Tavo, have you seen the 1990-ish Australian movie Two Hands? It's a good one. I haven't heard of that one, no. Brad Eastman, that's why you buy a sports car, roads like that. Yeah, we might take the Alpine there when it's done, up that tail of the dragon. Not sure whether I'll be allowed to drive it, of course, but we'll see. Getting no response from the cheap seats over there.
I'll ignore you.
No, she's ignoring me. Oh dear. Mexican spec. I like to leave things in my car, like my groceries I just bought when I go to the next store. That won't work for me. Well, yeah, that's true. Granddad's joke. Here's the hypocrisy. EVs are all plastic made from oil more than an ICE car will burn in its lifetime. Yep, that's the hypocrisy of it. I agree. Charles Dalton, I like pre-war cars, and the A is easily the most affordable. Truly have to drive that car. Non-synchro trans, no auto spark advance, etc. No, that is the one that you do it on the. You actually spin that little lever, don't you, to like advance it or retard it. Tuning on the fly. Andy Nickel, LOL mix. We may have no choice. Don't think I'll be around when it gets to that. No. Lane Connolly got an estimate to fix and chrome the Valiant rear bumper, $1,200. Sad part is that I'll probably do it. $1,200 to straighten it and chrome it? Yeah, that's not shocking. That's not shocking at all. Mexican spec, Lane Conley. Where will you send it? I mean, what company? Yeah, one who's doing the chroming. It's we got that fancy chrome shop here. What's it called? We've got a very expensive chrome shop in Tennessee. But yeah, that'd be $2,500 to straighten the and chrome a Valiant bumper. They'd be $2,500. Jeff Hutchins got caught by a customer. At least he didn't force me into overtime. There you go. Andy Nickel, Mix, you're lucky I live in Canada. Mexican speak. Adios, all Buff and Cameron. Okay, mate. Good to have you here. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Lane Connolly, Space Coast plating in Melbourne, Florida. Huh. There you go. That's really not a bad price. Volfly, wife told me some irony. The big boy steam locomotive now being restored in more cities. There are 2 operational and more to come because people are willing to pay the higher price to ride on it. Huh. Interesting. Volfly, now that big boy steam locomotives have new blueprints, they are training a new generation on them. It's refreshing to hear about. That is very cool. Very cool. Volfly, they converted the boiler to use fuel oil instead of coal. Oh. Chris Freemesser. She's not going to tell you that you can't drive the Alpine until the Alpine is done. Well, yes. I mean, she'll definitely let me drive it, but I don't know whether she'll let me drive it on the tail of the Dragon. But we will see. Oh, I'm getting the. That's fair. I did frighten the bejesus out of it last time I drove there. So. Chavo, are you under Mrs. K's supervision tonight, Mr. Kiwi? Not under her supervision, but she's on the other. Oh, you're getting a thumbs up from her, just by the way. But no, not strictly speaking under her supervision, but she's in earshot, which is unusual. She's usually head down in the office working, but tonight she's just chilling on the couch, listening to me dribble on to you guys. Todd Denier, hey, welcome along, man. And Todd Denier just woke up from an unintentional late nap. That's a fairly late nap. That's more like an early night than a late nap. Now the back's no better, eh? That's sorry to hear that, man. Barracuda, 2 hands, 1999. Heath Ledger, Brian Brown, another 2 Aussies. I'm not normally interested in new movies, but I highly recommend this one. Barracuda, 99 movie. That's 27 years old, mate. That's not a newer movie. That's crazy, isn't it? Volfly, electric cars are failing. Steam locomotives making a comeback. It's an interesting proposition, isn't it? Yeah, Todd Denier, Granddad's joke, my back is out bad. Oh, that sucks. Tavo, used to be about $150 for a changeover Rico Valiant bumper down here. Man, when was that though, Tavo? The chromes were very expensive here in the States because of the EPA. They make it very, expensive to run a chrome shop here with all the toxic chemicals, Volfly slides a petri dish of stem cells towards Todd Denier. There you go. At least you're being helpful, mate. Brad Eastman, chrome powder coat is an option. There's some good stuff out there now. Chrome powder coat. I had not heard of that. Chavo, then someone made chroming expensive. Yeah, well, I don't know about Aussie, but here the EPA has made it very expensive. Very expensive. Volfly, I missed the black and chrome dashes. Yeah, there you go. Lane Conley, I drove the tail of the Dragon last year in the Valiant. It's a neat bit of road, really. There's a lot of other roads around there too, like close by to the tail of the Dragon that are just as challenging. Beagle Bob, if the missus is watching over you, who's keeping Kev out of trouble? I don't know. He's in the office on his own, so I don't know what she's going to walk into when she goes back in there. But we will see. Granddad's joke. Mrs. K, keep him under the thumb. He loves it. Is that right?
I like that, man. NWSK chats in the office with Mr. Kiwi and the Kiwi down here.
Oh, she's saying something, but I can't catch it. Something about Kev. Yeah. Charles Dalton, driving fast with my wife is like fishing with the game warden. That's a good comparison. I like that. That's good. That's funny. Oh, Chief Hutchins, if she encourages you to drive the tail of the dragon, you know the honeymoon's over. There you go. Chris Freeman said Tennessee State police are pretty good around the tail of the dragon. I got to tell you, they know what brings the money into that area, and they're not as vigilant as they could be. Todd denies steam engines like the big boy are the way to go. One engine can do the work of 3 diesel electric locomotives. Steam power is very underestimated. Brad Eastman, new movie, 1999. That's what made me laugh too, but yeah. Barry Cooter, someone should get into the business of reproducing classic cars out of stainless steels. Then you can polish it up pretty much as good as chrome, yes. Now, it's interesting you say that because they're making repop bumpers for the Alpine and they're stainless steel. They're highly polished stainless steel. Brad Eastman, about $2,000 a bumper here. Wow. Okay, so that's not cheap. Volfly, the energy content never fails to surprise. Lighting a match with superheated steam is a great demonstrator. Lighting a match with superheated steam? Really? Dry steam, they call it. I have not heard of that before. Barry Cooter, have you seen Harold Lloyd's? Oh, excuse me. Harold Lloyd's latest film. I don't even know who Harold Lloyd is. LVG's in the house. Hi, guys. Late to the pool. Yes. No, Kiwi did not say that. Barry Cooter, what did I say? I didn't say that. Snow Crusher, when will they come up with a nuclear-powered steam locomotive? There you go. Jeff Hutchins, Kiwi, are you having trouble with her accent? Yeah, mate, I am. Yes. Yeah, she talks Kiwi to me, and I'm starting it's getting harder to understand these days. I'm getting very Americanized. Tomato and all that. Volfly, if I recall, you have to plate the bumper with copper before chroming. You do, sir, that's right. Barracuda, classic car bumpers, I mean. Okay. Mike Oxlong, not sure that's what he said, just sounded like it. Oh dear. It's the fatigue, the heat, and the bourbon. Like, what can that's my excuse. Todd and I, Volfly, appreciated the Petri dish, but now the feds are putting on surgical gloves to see if I'm hiding something elsewhere. Oh, God, those fingers look huge. Oh, yes, I bet they do. Driveway, Chris Freemesser, LOL, when you said bejesus, I was legit wondering if that's a term used in New Zealand. Oh, it most definitely is, yeah. Scaring the bejesus out of someone. Yep. Hope you got a laugh out of that. Volfly, nuclear locomotive sounds fun. Too many syllables, mate. Big words. The Tory 3 nuclear jet engine comes to mind too. Project Pluto, the nuclear bomber plane. It was real but not used. Wow. Steve Sadusky, a bunch of us are late today. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, hey, look at that. I'm completely caught up with the comments. How about that? That's amazing. Snow Crusher, they used to reproduce early Jeep tubs in stainless in the Philippines. That's not a bad idea, is it? They are a little prone to rust, aren't they? Making them out of stainless would be That'd be pretty good. Chris Freeman said, there's a joke to be made about Kiwi not being able to say nuclear and New Zealand being a nuclear-free country. Well, it's true, but I can't quite find the syntax. Yeah, it's in there somewhere, but it's beyond me at this stage of the game, this late in the evening. Charles Dalton, Snow Crusher, that's essentially what a nuclear submarine is. So the tech exists. You make a good point about the steam locomotive. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Could be a thing. Who knows? I think we're going to see some stuff like that. Not sure about the steam. Don't know. It'll be interesting. I believe steam's not very good. Steam-driven whatevers are not very good at going up hills, I believe. Not a lot of... I know they make peak torque at 0 RPM, but as the RPMs get up, they don't have huge amounts of torque anymore because the engine starts to run away from the steam pressure. That's my understanding of it, but I'm open to be corrected on that. Lane Connie, I used to work for a hard chroming shop in Denver in the late 70s. Hydraulic cylinders. Auto chrome is copper, then nickel, then chrome, commonly called triple chrome. Okay. That's what they call the triple plate, triple chrome. Right. That's just a triple plating process. So there's not... I always thought they meant 3 layers of chrome. Huh. There you go. You learn something every day. Jeff Hutchins, yeah, the nuclear-powered nuclear bomber. Great idea. The USA has accidentally dropped nuclear bombs on a couple of countries. I think even ourselves. Luckily, no detonations. Oh, wow, really? Good Lord. LVG had a great weekend. Drove a 56 Ford with a 454, towing a parade float in the Oceanside City Parade. It's an interesting combination, 56 Ford with a 454 Chevy. I don't think Tony would go along with that, Granddad's joke. But hey. Chris Freeman, so polished nickel is actually quite nice. Has a bit of an amber hue to it versus the blue hue of chrome. Okay. Volfly, I figure the reactor on the locomotive would have to be small, but it is possible. Give it a closed-loop steam system, and we've got game. Yeah, that's the hardest thing, is cooling the steam back down into water to get it to expand again, isn't it? Todd Denier, Chris, steam does not run out of torque. Okay. So what about my understanding of it was that, as the RPMs get up, the steam doesn't keep up with the speed of the piston. So then it loses power, which is torque. But you're saying it doesn't? Interesting. Chavo, old Motor X bike I have has a nickel-plated frame. Looks very chrome. There you go. Paul Funk, the smoking is so bad. The smoke here is so bad. Here, I'm tempted to ask if anyone needs help with their car somewhere back east where it's humid. Yeah, it's humid here, mate. It's humid here. Firefly, they irradiated their own planet, Quark, Deep Space Nine. God, I remember that show. Josh Homan, when will they come up with a nuclear locomotive? When they invent lead-lined railroad overalls? Well, yeah. There is that whole radioactive thing, isn't there? Chris Freeman, it sounds like something the USSR would have actually built. Vilefly, you crack me up. Free nuclear shipping. Act now. There you go. And if your package is glowing when it arrives, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Charles Dalton, have to take off, everyone. Have a great week. Chuck. Good to have you here, man. Thanks for dropping by. And we'll see you next week. Barracuda. I travelled on a train pulled by a steam engine from Dunedin to Littleton and back at the end of 72 and the start of 73. It was just weeks before that New Zealand Rail stopped using them commercially. Oh, wow. Very cool. That'll be a good, nice memory, yeah. Snow Crusher, first use of autochrome was in the mid-20s. Before that, it was nickel, and before nickel was brass for Brightway. Of course, the brass era cars. Jeff Hutchins, I'd like to go back to brass. There you go. Todd Denier, Chris, the reason steam fell out of preferred use is it takes more people to operate. Also, diesel electric locomotives can be piggybacked to be run by one controller. Oh, okay. Less labour intensive. Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of coal shoveling, wasn't there? Volfly, no charge for extra neutrons. Yeah. Here we go. Beagle Bob. Once I get my Mustang driving, I think I'm going to try and make a custom front clip bumper cover out of sheet metal. Haven't touched the car in months, though. There you go. That's an interesting project. Interesting. Yeah, well, you're too busy, Beagle. You're too busy growing tomatoes and not working on your hot rod. But yeah, that pasta sauce did sound pretty good, though. Got to tell you. Right, so look at that. I've caught up with the comments again. Oh, someone dropped another Volfly. We can have these new robots operate the nuclear locomotive. AI this, AI that. Yes. Not tomatoes. Tomatoes, yeah. We say tomatoes, and Americans say tomatoes. At least most Americans do. And potato, and all that fun stuff. So what's going on? Let's see. I think no comments. So what's going on at the shop? Oh man, like I was saying earlier, I got so many Mustangs at the shop. It's crazy. A couple are going in the next couple of days, so that'll be nice. And yeah, just been squirreling away on Swiss cheese. That's getting very close to going to body and paint. So that'll be nice to get that little parking space back. Yeah, just lots of little loose ends to tidy up on that car. Not really anything, video worthy, but still quite a lot to do. All the little brackets for the seats and the interior trim and stuff that, all the rear seat stuff that lots of little brackets that for that fold down rear seat and stuff like that all have to be measured out and welded in exactly the right spot. Doing stuff like that. This afternoon I was putting a fiberglass bumper on it, which is not my favourite thing to do by a long shot. Lots of grinding, trying to make it fit. But yeah. So I've been doing that, and yeah, a little bit on the Alpine. So Beagle Bob, need to delete the oil cooler off my Camaro, then I should be caught up with all the running cars. Well done. Awesome. Snow Crusher, nothing like a BLT and a coffee in the morning. Okay, where did that comment come from? Snow Crusher? Like, what's that about? BLT and a coffee in the morning. I mean, I agree completely. But yeah, seems a little out of left field. or is that in relation to the Beagle Bob's tomatoes? Jeff Hutchins, with today's technology, think of the amazing cars we could have if one manufacturer engineered for reliability and didn't have to follow the EPA standard. Yeah. We would have very different cars. I'm quite convinced of that if the EPA didn't have a hand in it. Hi, Chris Burton. Hey, man, welcome along. Haven't seen you for a little bit. Good to have you here. Tavo Mustang and Kiwi shop. Don't believe it. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? 6 is quite a bit even for me. I actually had 7 there at one spot, one point. Managed to get rid of some of them. Having just this hellacious run on Mustang brakes. All the brakes are failing on the Mustangs for some reason. I think it's because they leave them sitting all winter, and then they go to drive them and stop the thing, and all the fluid's gone south for the winter. And yeah, things are seized up and leaking, and yeah, I just got back to back Mustangs for brake jobs, which is, it's gravy. I mean, do it in my sleep. Like, it's just easy to do. But yeah, it's not exciting, but pays the bills. Yeah, Barracuda. Mum and I got on the Maori at Littleton. We got off at Wellington. Then got on the Silver Star train to Auckland. It was a great experience for a 7-year-old me. There you go. That would have been awesome. Very cool. Good memories. Volfly. If someone is worried about steam explosions, they can make it a nuclear Stirling engine so it can be silent like the Swiss submarine they came up with. There you go. Steam-powered submarines. Yeah, well. Chris Freemasson, Jeff Hutchins. Can't help but wonder if any automaker would actually build a durable car if given a chance. It's not in their best interest to do so. Well, there's an element of truth to that too, Chris, honestly, yeah. But I just don't. Yeah, I guess it depends how you define durable. I don't think it's in any automaker's interest to make engines that'll go, 300,000-400,000 miles. But I think they would like them to get to 100, and a lot of them aren't. And the amount of time and money that they put into these, with variable valve timing and hydraulic lifters that do 20 different jobs in 3 milliseconds and shit like that. I think some of them would be quite happy to go back to just a regular lifter, maybe just a little bit of variable valve timing, but all this, multi-displacement and all this kind of nonsense, to get tiny gains. I think what they'd like to do is, I think they'd sell, I don't know whether they'd sell more cars or not, but I don't think that the warranty departments wouldn't have as many headaches. Beagle Bob, perhaps you bringing up my tomatoes. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was wondering. Paul Funk, despite the smoke, the Tuesday night rodeo is going on. There you go. Good. Life goes on, doesn't it? It must go on. Brad Eastman, I was amazed by all the water traps on that Alpine build from the factory. Yeah, there's no shortage of them. And honestly, you have not seen them all, because I quickly cut out all the floor and X-frame out of that car, and there was a lot of water traps in there. But yeah, and the back of the trunk is shocking. There's just plenty of places water get in. And if you get onto the there's a couple of Alpine websites, just about Alpine restoration and stuff. And I saw there was an interesting article on basically how to fix all the water issues that they have, and where you have to drill holes and where you have to seal up, to try and stop water getting in, and then where you have to drill the holes to let the water out. because the stuff getting wet obviously will cause rust, but what really causes the bad rust is when the water gets in and it can't get out, and it just sits there and doesn't dry. So yeah, but there's plenty of places like that in the Alpine. Yeah, but again, that comes back to that durability. Durability is also in the structure of the car, not just the engine and the transmission. Paul Funk, most fireworks have been cancelled for the 4th. Okay, because of the heat? Oh, I guess, yeah, around your area. Well, yes, of course. Tavo, chance I could lose power soon. Usually do with sky booms like this. Got a bit of thunder there, mate. Wow. There you go. LVG, anyway, the parade truck with the 454 rolled at 10 mile per hour, had to drag the brakes going down the ramp to the beach. No brakes, almost ended in the sand. Oh, no. That would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it? Volfly, time to get dinner ready. Chipotle, seasoned chicken and rice. Too hot to use the stove. Pre-cooked the meal I put together. The microwave rules on hot days. And that's the truth. Yep. I feel it. I feel you. Jeff Hutchins, we're at 90 plus degrees a week ago. This week at 60s and low 70. Wow, that'd be nice. Barry Cooter. The Mary was a ship, by the way, not an actual Mary. I figured that much. Yeah, I figured that much. But yeah, it's funny. Submarines, Lane Connolly, submarines are steam turbine powered. The nuclear heats the steam. Well, yeah. So do they recycle the water in the submarine? So they just take, like recondense it, or do they take water from outside? I guess you wouldn't really want to make steam out of salt water, would you? That would be a little corrosive, I guess. I guess, yeah, you'd have to recycle the fresh water, wouldn't you? Josh Homan, it is in automakers' best interest to build decent cars if they want repeat business. People get tired of buying junk. Yeah, this is it. It's a balance, isn't it? Like if they make something that's too good, it lasts forever, then they're not going to sell so many cars. If they make something that's really junk, then they're not going to sell so many cars either. So it's all about value for money, isn't it? If people own a car and they put 100 and something thousand on it and it's still half decent and they can sell it for a reasonable amount, then they take that money and they put it into another new car. So, Yep. Todd deny EPA is Environment Polluting Agency. They can't say P is for the protection since what they're doing to vehicles pollutes more than a 50-year-old car. Yeah. All right. EPA, every politician's ass. There you go. LVG and the 60 T-Bird made another successful rip to the beach. No tow trucks. Wee-ha. That's cool, man. You must have actually got it properly fixed, that transmission now. So that's very good. Jeff Hutchins, if the maker who built in reliability could survive long enough to gain a reputation, they could do well. And government regulations won't let them. No. It does. To me, it's very ironic how, one of the things you hear a lot of here in the States is about it being the land of the free. And it's like, really? It kind of just makes me scratch my head a bit. And people that kind of say that, and they talk about, I've heard people say about, America's a free country, unlike so many others. It's like, yeah, I don't know, not so sure about that. Government regulate everything, man. Land of the free, I don't know. Barracuda. It's been cooler than a vampire's demeanour here lately. Well, down the mainland there, it does get a little colder of an evening, doesn't it? Chris Freeman, EPA exists for a reason, but too much of anything is bad. Yep. There needs to be a balance between environmental needs and the practical needs of the average person. Yeah, well said. Well said. Yeah, I guess if the EPA, you've got to remember that if the EPA didn't exist at all, it'd be, it might not be so good either. It'd be a lot of black diesel belching everywhere and all sorts of stuff going on. But they're a little bit out of control. Snow Crusher, the Hilux Champ in global market started around $12,000, though it is not sold in North America. The Hilux Champ. I haven't heard of the Hilux. I've heard of the Hilux, obviously, but not the Champ. But Barfly, cool it, you big dog. Barfly. Tamo, that was one direction when I used to build bus chassis. Try to stop water ingress, but always make sure there's drain holes at the lowest point. Yeah. Very hard to make them waterproof to stop any water getting in places that you don't want it to get. But yeah, let it out. Chris Burton. When I was a kid, sitting abandoned across the street was an abandoned 57 Chevy sedan delivery project car. That was a while ago then. 57 Chevy sedan delivery. Yeah, it's a cool old wagon. Snow Crusher, we do our fireworks on July the 1st. Todd and I haven't heard why Tavo was missing for so long. Some technical difficulties, I believe, but I will let Tavo elaborate on that if he chooses to. Jeff Hutchins, I thought all nuclear-powered vehicles were steam turbine powered. I have no clue. Overbuilt automotive. Hot here in East Tennessee. Yeah. Chat, Kiwi Classics. Is he in New Zealand or just from there? No, I'm just from there, mate. Mate, I live in Franklin, Tennessee. So Middle Tennessee. So not far from you. Because it'd be a weird time of day to have a live stream in New Zealand because I think it's like 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that on Wednesday in New Zealand. But Barracuda, I'm sure, will chime in with that. I'm guessing a little bit at 11, but might be 1 or something like that. Lane Connolly, yes, the steam is recycled. Figure it must be closed loop for submarine water becomes radioactive. Oh, wow. I'm sure they dispose of that carefully, right? Yeah. Chris Freemesser, that's right. Canada Day is tomorrow. What was up in Toronto once on Canada Day? Fun time. I bet it is. Barracuda, I think on submarines they desalinate seawater. Okay. Volfly, okay, time to go. Good night. He's got to go cooking or microwaving. Yes, all right, mate. I won't be too far out of here myself. I'm pretty shagged after today's effort in the heat. Beagle Bob, I think I have 3 things that will last forever. My 7.3 diesel, my 4.6 2V, and my Faberware percolator from the 1960s. Good grief. Faberware, I know that name. Yeah. So percolator, like a coffee percolator? Back when people percolated their coffee? Huh. Barracuda Savoys. There you go. Todd denier. Chris, America is the land of the free as long as it is something for illegal. Hang on. Let me scroll down. I can't quite read that. America is the land of the free as long as it is something for illegal aliens who are given everything for free. Yeah. Oof. Yep. Politics. Not saying I disagree with you, but at all. But yeah, it just opens up a whole new conversation stream. But yeah, it's a fact of life. Barracuda, yes, the wonderful Plymouth Savoy. 59, I believe. Yeah. No, I'm sure they made a few years. Paul Funk saw a Cybertruck painted lime green. It looked like a fluorescent garbage can. Looked like something Kermit would drive by the sound of it. Yeah, Beagle Bob, come on, guys. This is a refuge from political nonsense, no matter how true. True enough. And that was my fault, really. I started that, didn't I? So, yeah, after all my preaching about no politics, kind of went down that road, didn't I? Chris Freemasson, Barracuda, I heard the Plymouth Savoy sold in New Zealand only came in red. Oh, you got a good memory, Mr. Freemasson. Well done. That's funny. Hi, Chris Burton. My dad took parts off it for my uncle's 57 sedan. There you go. David Tyree, 1338, 130 ish. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I said 11 or 1. I said 11 first, but then I said maybe 1 o'clock. So, yeah. Tavo, no comment. Also have no political opinion or direction to share. There you go. Snow Crusher, didn't Shop Dog Sam live in Middle Tennessee? I have no clue. Shop Dog Sam? Who's Shop Dog Sam? Beagle Bob, what matters is that Tavo is here now. Yes, indeed. Paul Funk, Green Junction postponed their fireworks in memory of the 3 firefighters. Yeah, that's horrible. Barracuda, I know a man here has a black 57 Savoy 2-door sedan with Poly 318. It's cooler than a Vampire Stanina. There you go. Beagle Bob, coffee, yes. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. What a neat old piece to have that's that old. Very cool. Overbuilt automotive. The USA, they go on, looks into history. The Brits, London banker, basically 50 years into the start of the USA, started taking over. Think Civil War and government education. Okay. Todd denier, how do I put a picture with my profile? I have a picture of the Marlin with fake Kragers I want to use. That's a good question. I don't know. Somebody probably does though. Nah, speaking of vampires, where's Dean? Beagle Bob, use it every day, sometimes 2 times a day. There you go. Good coffee drinking. Good on you, man. Oh, Barracuda, I think Dean will probably be attending the Buff and Kim extravaganza. Chief Hutchins, I don't drink much coffee, but when I do, I use a percolator. Jeremy Parrish, why do you think Ford made so many different engines in the 60s and 70s while Chevy had only a few different engine platforms they used. I always wondered, the 60s and 70s. They certainly made a few in the 50s, and they let them run their course into the 60s, early to mid 60s. But the backbone of the 60s and 70s was really the small block and the FE, which was kind of their big block. And then, the FE big block gave way to the like the Clevelands and the 385 series, like the 429, 460s. But, well, what did Chevy had? Really, Chevy just had the small block and the big block, didn't they? A lot of different capacities, but still essentially, I think it's probably fair to say Chevy had less. But I don't know that Ford made so many, but I think they had a few running within a decade. Like I say, all the the Y block stuff, and then within the Y block range, you had all the like the Lincoln versions of it and the Mercury versions of it, stuff like that. So that was a little over the top, but that was more of a 50s thing. But it did carry over into the 60s. So Chris Freemasser, Toddy is in the settings for your YouTube account. There you go. No, okay. Beagle Bob. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll be looking at that. Barracuda, yes, percolator. Yes. Yeah, a lot of people say percolator, don't they? Overbit automotive. Basically, we've never been free from their rules influence. That's why later they overlaid a corporation on top of the Constitution cluster. Yeah, it is, but politics. There's so much of it on so many levels, and yeah. No, what you're saying is not out of the question by any means. No, David Troy, if it wasn't for politicians, we'd have nothing to bitch about. Well, this is true. I don't know. I think we might be able to find something. Chris Freemas, the quickest way to lose a friend is to talk politics or religion. Well said. Very true. Very true. Barracuda, I think of you as a friend, Chrissy, if so I keep tight-lipped. There you go. Overbuilt. I'll stick to motor. I got a bit of a rant. My favourite oldie is the Ford 390 FE motors, 410 Mercury and so on. Yes, good motors. Good motors. Tons and tons of torque. Yeah, I had a 390 way back when I was a teenager. Had a 67 Thunderbird, a 4-door with the suicide doors, the backwards opening rear doors. That was quite the car back when I remember. So when would that have been? About 1968, 1969. That was a pretty unusual car back in New Zealand in the day. So it wasn't that old a car. Maybe it was. Yeah, it was a 67, and I think I was 18. So that would have been 1969. Yeah. I don't remember it being that new. It's weird. There's some numbers aren't quite matching up there, but. Jeremy Parrish, I really meant because Ford had 351, 429, Boss 429, 428, 428. Yeah, the list goes on, doesn't it? Some of those are in the same family as the 351, 420, 429, and 429 Boss are the same family, which is the same family as the 460. The 400 is the same family as the 351 Cleveland. 427 is the same family as the 428 and the 390. So, yeah. Todd and I, don't forget about the 406. Todd's a bit of a fan of the 406. He's got a bit of a. I think if someone came along with him with a Ford with a 406 in it, I think they could. I think that Marlin would be getting a bit nervous. I suspect. I might be wrong there, but Todd does have a thing of those 406s. Overbuilt. I got an old 64 FE 390. I may install Darton sleeves, solves thin bore issues to it. And modern ring pack piston. It'll bet the old thing will run 250,000 miles with improvement. Yeah, I'd say it probably would. Darton sleeves, they're great. Yeah, that's but yeah, I wonder what would it cost these days to put 8 Darton sleeves in an FE? Couple of bucks, I'd say. Jeremy Parrish, almost feels like they never perfected anything, and instead of improving something, they just kept starting over instead of modifying, improving like Chevy did with their small block in 454. Yeah, I mean, I've never been able to. I don't know the why they had a 427 FE and a 428 FE. Which with just like there's tiny differences in. I'm not sure whether it's the bore and stroke or just one of them, but there's tiny differences with the 428 to 427, and it's just enough that like they won't to change much. But yeah, I don't know why they did that. Some Ford Guru probably does, but yeah, I've never spent a lot of time on it. I've worked on a lot of FEs, but I've never kind of hot rodded one, so I don't know really what makes them tick. Barracuda, also some say espresso, instead of espresso, and tantalised fence posts. I've never heard that. Tantalised. Oh, good grief. That's a new one. Beagle Bob, has anyone else watched the NASCAR race at Coronado? I'm going to watch the Sonoma race tomorrow, so no spoilers, please. I think all 3 series had good races last week at San Diego. Well, oh no, I won't spoil it, Beagle Bob. I won't even hint. I could, but I won't. Tavo, this is where I get fascinated. Down here, practically any of the 6 different cars we had access to had maybe 3 engine options. Yeah, there was a lot of options. They weren't all different families, but there was lots of sizes. Yeah, like 390, 406, 410, 427, 428. Yeah, a 352 and a 361, all FEs. 332 was an FE as well. A lot of different sizes. Overbuilt automotive. GT390 heads are from Beast. I can tell from a Galaxy 390 spec, Galaxy GT 390 spec car. That'd be worth having. David Torrey, I thought you were born in 61. That would make it late 70s. Oh my God. Yeah. I knew there was something wrong. I thought, yeah, and it was my brain not working. Why did I think 18 plus 61 was 69? That's the heat, man. I'm telling you. I should be in bed. Yeah, so it was the late 70s. So it was a 10, 12-year-old car. That makes much more sense. Geez, that's bad. My brain's just not engaged, not working. Barracuda, Kiwi, I have some technical information you might find interesting about the factory chin spoilers on the front of a 67 to 69 Camaros and Firebird. Okay, do tell. Technical information. How much technical information can you have on a chin spoiler? Oh well. Enlighten me, sir. Chris Freemasson, were they trying to one-up GM Chrysler by releasing new engines that were just 1 or 2 cubic inches larger than what the other guys sold? Could be marketing, yeah. And I guess if the engine's different, I guess it's, the new 428 as opposed to the not so new 427. I don't know. Were people fooled that easily? Beagle Bob, I watch the races on YouTube. They come out a few days later. Yeah, they do. Overbuilt. Cost of full sleeves is about $800 for Darton and board job. So about $1,200, I assume. There you go. Yeah, it's not too bad, really. You've effectively got a brand new block then, haven't you? Brad Eastman, I had a 350 in my Chevy pickup. I have a 302. Into my Mercury, and for me, the 302 is such a great engine for driving. Yes. Yeah, it's just a fun little engine. They're a fun little engine. They're happy, they're quite happy to rev. It's just very good little engine. Tavo, but we did have a 302 Cleveland, yes. We could quite figure that out. I mean, I guess because they were making Cleveland blocks in Australia. So make a 5 litre, or just under a 5, whatever it is. That's 5 litre, isn't it? But yeah, it seemed to make a fairly big, heavy 5 litre engine. Beagle Bob, Heat or Bourbon. I think it's a mixture of both, mate, honestly. I mean, geez, you should be able to add like 18 to 61, shouldn't you? It's not that hard. I was completely stumped on that one. Yeah. Barracuda, I've been informed that Elgin lifters and camshafts and other engine parts are very good quality. That's noteworthy these days. It is. And I know of Elgin, yeah. Where's Elgin made? I know the name. Haven't seen it very much. Oh, jeez. Chris Freemason, there goes your discount. Mrs. Kiwi is listening to this and thinking, time to put him in a home. She could well be, mate. She really could. Yeah, I can't be doing that sort of thing too often, can I? People will start to ask questions. Eesh. Todd and I and Tavi, we did here in the US as well. It was known as the Boss 302. I thought the Boss 302 was a Windsor with Cleveland heads. That's what I thought it was. I might be wrong, but that's what I thought a Boss 302 was, a Windsor with Cleveland heads. David Torrey, I'm sitting here pissing myself. Well, see, they'll put you in a home for that too, mate. You want to watch that? G-Mac, my friend bought an 89 Dodge Conquest TSI. Man, that was a nice driving car. I was his driver. It was so much fun. They're a neat little car. I'm used to them being a Mitsubishi Starion. And there's a whole forum of those things. They call it the StarQuest, which is a cross over of the Starion and the Conquest. Because most other places in the world, they were called Starions. Chris Freeman said adult incontinence diapers are a thing. Indeed. David Tyree, Chris Freeman said, yeah, but who would change them for me? Yes, well. Josh Homan, Elgin, Illinois, outside of Chicago. Oh, there you go. Todd Denier, Chris, the Boss 302 is a Cleavor. That's what I thought, yeah. Well, the 302 Cleveland in Australia is a Cleveland block with Cleveland heads. And yeah, so it's not quite the same. Chris Freeman said, David Tyree, presumably your wife and your girlfriend. And both of them. Oh, and or. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, GM just introduced new 5.7 and 6.6 gas engines, 350 and 400 cubic inch. I think they're trying to distract us from their current problem motors and get us thinking nostalgic. Oh, could be too. Oh, man. I'm done, and it's 9 o'clock. Now, quickly, Barracuda GM Wind Tunnel tested them for Trans Am racing. I think it was Mark Donahue who said if they damaged it while racing on the Penske Camaro, it would be instantly uncompetitive. Really? Wow, I didn't think it would make much difference, but Mark Donahue was a driver. So that's interesting. That is interesting technical stuff. Thank you, sir. Beer Montero, I've been watching the progress on the Alpine. I love what you've done so far. It looks great. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm actually, it's that rear suspension was proving to be difficult, like trying to figure out the best way to do it. And I kind of ended up with our old analysis paralysis a little bit. But got over that hump and it's all the torque boxes are in there and done. Been mocking up the 4-link mounts, which will be the next video on that, trying to get the 4-link mounts and the bars and all stuff sorted out. But yeah, it's coming together pretty nice. So yeah, thanks for watching, man. Paul Funk, Boss 302 was a Windsor with Cleveland heads. That was my thoughts. But yeah, that's what Todd's agreed with that too. David Tyree, no wife, no girlfriend, don't need that shit. There you go. Tavo, well, whatever did happen to the Hemi Mitsubishi Kiwi? That Mopar Al bought that off me. I think he just really wanted the motor. He was talking about he took the motor from that and put it into one of his trucks or something like that, and was going to build another one for the Conquest. But yeah, just a little optimistic on the time I had, and he wanted it, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not working on it, so let it go somewhere where it might get worked on. Fortunately, I don't think it has got worked on, but what you going to do? Their current engine problems. Spell check, not me. There you go. Yeah, you got to be kidding. You don't admit to anything, mate. They'll put you in a home. That's what they're threatening to do to me already. So, yeah. Snow Crusher just went to a retirement home with my 46 for a car show. Maybe it's a foreshadowing. GMAC, remember the X-Code Ford engine in the Mustang? X-Code. That was the hypo, wasn't it? Todd Denay, Chris, the Aussie 302 Cleveland should have been a high winding cast. Yeah, I couldn't actually tell you a lot about it, to be honest. Tava might be able to tell you more about it, but I remember them being a thing, but the 351 was kind of always the one to have. I had a Falcon panel van, and that came from the factory with the 302 Cleveland 4-speed. And I foolishly, but I thought it was a good idea at the time, swapped it out for a 351 Cleveland because it just bolts straight in and 50 extra cubic inches. So it was a good idea in the moment, but today it would be better off back with the 302. But who knows where that engine went? Barracuda, GM tested them for street use and said the car is notably more stable above 65. That's wild. I really thought they were more cosmetic than anything. GMAC, thank you, sir, for the time and channel. Bless you all. Yep. Thank you, sir. Steve Sadusky, yes, that Alpine has come a long way, Kiwi. It has, and it's going to come. We're going to put a foot harder down on the gas, man, to make that thing happen. So, yeah, watch this space. It's going to be happening. Todd and I, a few days ago, sleepy little Eli, Minnesota, population 3,000 was invaded by Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Oh, what was it? Some sort of a rally or something, I guess. Overbuilt custom. Cast iron sleeve on eBay, milling $40 for cheap ones. LA sleeve, $46. Yeah, there's a little bit, 2 different ones out there, isn't there? Wow. LOL, I had to look all that up real fast. There you go. I've used Darton sleeves in the past, and I thought they were awesome. So if I was going to do that, I'd probably do Darton sleeves, because the others are a little bit of an unknown quantity, and I think Darton did it really well. Tavo 302 Cleveland is just a D-stroke 351 with long conrods. Okay. Jeff Hutchins, I hope mix at the like button before he went. Barry Cooter, by the way, glad to see you back again, Tavo. Some of us were getting a bit worried, yeah. Yes, all right, it's time to go, guys. It's 9:06, and I've hung in there longer than I thought I was. I haven't gone face down in the keyboard, although I have lost some of my faculties, it would appear, or the ability to do math at least. But anyway, I'm going to go. The heat and the alcohol, that's what I'm blaming it on. Todd Denier, Chris, yes, there was a rally. They were given a police escort through town. Nice. Yes, so got to go. Got to get some rest. Another full day tomorrow. Got several Mustangs to work on. And yeah, nobody's being very patient. So yeah, got to get at it. All right, fellas, well, have a good one. Thanks for all of you for being here and for all your comments and input and likes. And I will see you next Tuesday, and have a good one. Try and stay cool. See you guys.